Hello, my name is Nicole Hartley Bradford, and I am so lit up to tell this legend of nonlinear, creative, collaborative, radically responsible creation, uh, including this piece about money and about non-material value that was woven in to an event that I helped create with a team of extraordinary permaculture experimenters. And this happened before COVID times. It seems so long ago. And the it happened near Calgary, Alberta, Canada. This small organizing team, using the principles of permaculture, created a convergence, a permaculture convergence. And it was a whole weekend of skilled permaculture enthusiasts and beginners coming together, and we made it possible for this event to cost only $50. And we asked for $50 without even having clarity about what would the $50 need to cover. We just thought, let's make a pot to cover the expenses, even though we don't know what they are because we hadn't had the event yet. So part of what we were also doing was we were holding this intention to do everything possible in these radically responsible, self-reliant ways. And there were people on the team who had experience with Burning Man and with living in this low level of using money experiments, and it wove into this emergent, this event really emerged. How it was going to go really emerged out of this intention to provide non-material value and then generate enough money in the pot to cover whatever costs came about that couldn't be resourced in other ways. And so we sent out this invitation, and it pretty much said, you are our collaborators. Bring what you have and what you need, and bring a surplus of whatever it is that you have extra of, whether it comes in the form of food or an extra tent or something to create a space for us to gather in, covers in case the weather is super sunny and hot or rainy, tools to create what you want to create at this event. There's no schedule except for arrival time and leaving time, and then kind of what we can anticipate will be part of the necessity about eating and sleeping and connecting and learning together. And think about what you want to contribute, what you want to exist as part of this weekend that comes from your expertise or what you want to learn. And this is where we'll start. And I remember that I got some communications back from the people I sent this invitation to, saying, what the fuck? Like, there's no schedule? You're not telling me what's going to happen? It's like, yes, what do you want? And in some cases, this conversation kind of became this discovery space of well, I want to make this amazing breakfast for anyone who wants to eat, but I don't know how many people will be there. So how about I was like, pick a number. Like, what do you want to bring as the ingredients, and what do you want to ask for in return? And they were like, they discovered that they wanted to, I think it was, make eggs Benedict for, I think it was like 30 people, and they brought enough ingredients and that what they needed to make the eggs Benedict for 30 people, and they just when they got there, they declared, I'm going to be doing this on this morning. And if you get there at this time, and if you get there in time, you get Eggs Benedict. If you don't, I'm so sorry already that you missed out. And there will be other possibilities. So I remember this weekend, and it included wristbands made of paper that had seeds in them, so that when the wristbands no longer needed to be used, you could plant them in the garden. They would grow into wildflowers. I remember that several people, including me, brought canopies and couches and blankets and cushions to create these physically marked spaces for small and larger group gathering. I remember people brought whiteboards and flip charts and a blender bike where people could ride on the bike, and a blender would go because the riding of the bike generated electricity to make smoothies. And I remember people saying, coffee's available over there. And I remember spaces where someone held space for a conversation about death and grieving and possibilities around more radically responsible Gaian ways to plan for what happened to my physical body once I die out of it. I remember, because I was one of the space holders who offered to be the master of ceremonies for a passion show. This was an evening space where everyone came who wanted to, and people could sign up to have 3 to 5 minutes presenting what they were passionate about. It's like a talent show, but you don't have to be talented, only passionate. I mean, how else are you going to get talented, right? So these performances happened about all kinds of things. One man was sharing about his experiments with creating refrigeration units without using refrigerants, or with using very little refrigerants. It was this incredible sharing of his experiments about how he created these places that would get cold, that don't use as many of the natural resources and cost the earth to create places where food storage can happen, for example. And there were so many other spaces where gift exchange happened. People brought their surplus and said, I don't know who this is for, but I want to kind of put it out on a blanket, and while other people are putting what they brought out on a blanket, it was kind of like a free market. And some of this just emerged spontaneously, where a woman said, I brought this, would you like any of it? Or I brought this, I want you to have it if you want it. If not, you can pass it on or give it back. And then the money part was that, so this pool of $50 from each person, part of it was used to cover the cost of these seed bracelets that marked that you had registered, you'd gone through the process of coming into the space. And then there were a few other costs, I think. I can't even remember what they were, but at the end there was this money, and we as an organizing team got together afterward to talk, to give each other feedback and look at how it went and what we could learn from it and implement in further experiments. And there was this money, and we're like, what are we going to do with all this money? And someone proposed that we check in with the community about possibilities. And that led to this emergence of this decision to gift this money to a young girl who was a teenager, who was part of the permaculture convergence, who'd been doing video recording and made these videos just because she wanted to. And she was starting a local chapter of Earth Guardians, which is an organization, in a non-local, non-central, decentralized organization for youth who want to take a stand for the earth. And so this money was given to Priya is her name, and she created a local chapter of Earth Guardians using empowerment from that money. So I feel so much joy to share this legend of how money and non-material value, materially valuable things just wove together to create this pop-up village. Only lasted a weekend, but the ripples are still happening. I want to share one more thing. There was a group that came down from Edmonton. Oh, I'm not remembering the name of this. Oh, Spruce Permaculture came down from Edmonton, and they dug a huge hole in the yard, and they made a veggie roast pit out of it, and they brought all these clothes and just set up a free store of clothing. And some of the clothing they had made and upcycled into things themselves. It was just such a rich space of demonstrating what's possible when people collaborate and bring what they're passionate about and share. Thank you for listening to my legend about the Southern Alberta, or maybe it was the Alberta Permaculture Convergence of something like 2018. And in the notes below, I'm going to write down some of the names of the people who helped organize, and you can do with this video whatever you want. You can share it. You can take the gold from it and create with it. You can get in touch with me if you want coaching about it. And one more thing I want to tell you about Money Club. Money Club is itself emerging, this little game world I've originated, and I've done these experiments creating spaces for people to experiment and share discovery. And what's next is an even more dangerous space where we go more nonlinear and do crazy experiments about how to weave together material and non-material value and put transformation and possibility and love in the center of what we do, rather than money and profit and all the other things that end up in the center. So if you want more about Money Club, get in touch with me. Goodbye for now.